Hi everyone, my name's Britton Cline, Ad Sales Manager, and welcome to this week's edition of Marketing Minutes by Scuba Diving Industry Magazine.
And I'm William Cline, publisher, and thank you for watching this series. If you're a dive company out there and have something you'd like to say to the industry, reach out to us. We'd love to schedule on a show, right, Britton?
That's right.
So who do we have for today?
So today we have Yaniv Stopnitzky, PhD, founder and lead research scientist at Divesight.AI. Yaniv, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's very nice to be here.
Yeah, thanks for joining us today, Yaniv. Britton, I can't wait to jump in today's show because there's some cool tech we're going to talk about, something new for the industry, something really exciting. So let's take it away.
A great one. But to dive right in, Yaniv, could you tell the industry just a little bit about your background, what led you to create Divesight, and maybe what makes it different from that of other weather apps or even weather sites?
Good question.
Yeah, thank you. So I started diving 33 years ago. I'm pretty old at this point. That was at age 13. And I did a PhD at Yale in basically environmental statistics.
Wow.
I was a professor for most of my career, and I had a research project that was looking at the relationship between fluctuating fishing conditions in local coastal waters all around the world and how that impacted child malnutrition.
Wow.
And so using the insights from the ecological literature, I realized you can kind of predict fluctuations in fish abundance using satellite data. This is actually a trick that fishermen have known for quite a while. Look, if you open some of the fishing apps out there, there's like gradients of temperature and chlorophyll A concentrations, like how much plankton is in the water. And basically, at some point, I realized this would be a very cool thing for divers. This is like one of the main things that we care about when we go under the water is like how active things are going to be. And there really wasn't anything in the dive community. I've also been a surfer my whole life. So when Surfline came out, that was just like such a cool technology.
Totally.
Skiers have open snow. And so I decided that I wanted to try to build a comparable thing for divers. And once I had all of this big data engineering going to build the pipeline to predict marine life, a lot of that overlaps with visibility as well. They're very different processes, but the underlying data is quite the same. So the project expanded in ambition, and then I decided, rather than have all these different apps that we go to, like maybe open up Windy for weather and swell stuff or whatever, but to have everything in one place where divers can just like open a single app and have all of the very best data at their hands right in front of them in an easy to use format, felt like a great opportunity and something that I could contribute to the dive community.
So seriously cool.
That's
wow.
Amazing. So you've obviously done a lot of Southern or California diving, at least Central California, more or less, right? San Francisco area.
I grew up in Southern California, actually.
Okay.
Did a lot of diving in Catalina and Laguna Beach area.
Yeah. My old stomping grounds.
But I've been up in the Bay Area now for most of my adult life, so I dive a lot in the Monterey area.
That's very cool. So one of the most unique aspects or technology that I found fascinating was your visibility prediction model. How do you forecast visibility, and how do you know how accurate the forecasts are? Because, I mean, that's the golden egg of diving. Cool. Everybody wants to know what it's going to be like when you go out to wherever this weekend,
Yeah, it's a very good question. It's obviously a very difficult problem. There's a lot of complex factors. I have worked very hard to incorporate as much of the things that drive visibility as possible into the model. So the kinds of information that is included in this, let me back up one step. Other things that I've seen out there have tried to use, we have satellites now that cruise the planet and take photos of the water. And one of the things that they can do is see like what kind of light reflects out of the water and estimate something like vertical visibility. But that's very different from what divers experience when they go underwater. So attempts to just use that vertical visibility are somewhat limited. In order to get an accurate prediction of like horizontal visibility, we have to take into account a lot of other things. So some of the things that the model incorporates into it are, how much light is available, so basic cloud cover, things like that. The depth that the dive happens at, so the model is calibrated, like the predictions are depth specific for where the dive itself tends to be. swells, currents, tides, wind patterns, plankton concentrations, recent rainfall, and then local geography, like are there streams or rivers nearby that dump that local rainfall and sediment into the water. And so the model takes all of those things, and it's trained on like 30,000 plus scientific divers reports about visibility. The marine life model is trained on that same data, and accumulating all of that over the years was like a huge undertaking.
Wow.
Incredible.
So the model like learns from all those data and all those different variables that I just described. And the way that I test accuracy is before the model sees any of that data, I put 20% of it aside so that there's absolutely no way that it can learn what happens in those 20% of the dive observations. The model learns from the 80%, and then I test how accurate the predictions are for the 20% that remain. So there's like a clean separation and this very rigorous test of how accurate the model is. And it's gone to the point now after years of development that it's about 85% accurate, in the sense that when it tells you that it's going to be better than normal, it's right about 85% of the time, which is a number that I'm really quite proud of. Now, this is going to vary a little bit by region. In some places have much more complicated visibility processes. So, for example, Monterey is one of those places. Vero Beach, Florida is one of those places where upwellings really kind of undermine visibility a lot of the time and can be a little bit hard to predict. The model has depth level, like all the way down the depth profile of currents and temperatures and things. So it has the ability to learn from upwellings. But for some places where like that training data is a little bit sparse, the model will be slightly less accurate. But over time, hopefully as users contribute and just tell me if visibility reports are accurate or not, or provide a super quick update on visibility, and or I find more data, we can calibrate all of these for like the entire world. And one of the things that's really cool about this work that I'm very excited about is I have data for the entire globe. So not just the dive sites that are in the database, but also you can put a custom site anywhere you want. You can choose to share that site publicly, or you can keep it just private for yourself, and you will get a customized visibility prediction for that particular place.
Wow. So we're headed to the Cayman Islands in a few weeks, Britton. So
right.
we're going to put the app on our phone, and we're going
Put it to the
to log in on the places we're diving, and we'll add to that community contribution. It's really amazing.
Totally. Wow, that's really, really cool. Another incredibly unique feature is the marine life prediction. How does your marine life index work, and how should a diver interpret a score of maybe 70 or 80 without assuming a particular animal maybe is like guaranteed to appear?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, it's a good question, and also a good point in how to like interpret this. The model is based on basic ecological processes. So in short, like when conditions are right, you tend to have like a plankton bloom. So phytoplankton, and then the little zooplankton come and eat the phytoplankton, and the little fish come to eat the zooplankton, and the trophic levels kind of increase. And you tend to get these aggregations of species. And again, this is something that fishermen have known for a long time, and I'm trying to bring this to divers. It incorporates a lot of the same variables that the visibility model does. So we want to know things like where the temperature gradients are and the chlorophyll A concentrations and all of these processes. Temperature is a major driver of fish behavior. And similar to the visibility reports, the way that I've set up the models is that the scores should be interpreted relative to what's normal for a given place in a given season.
Gotcha.
So this is my reasoning, is that this way of thinking about it tells you in a much more actionable way, like whether it's a good idea or when is the best time to try to dive.
Right.
Is it later in the week? Is it earlier in the week? And what I want to know is like, I'm dying to dive, and it's, let's say, March, and in my local area, I'm making up an example, but let's say March is often a not very good month, but I'm dying to get in the water. I still want to know when it's going to be extra good in March so that I can choose the best time to dive. And so the way that the information is structured in the app provides that reference. So if you see a score of, let's say, 70 on this like 0 to 100 scale for marine life, that means 50 is normal for that place, for that specific site in that month. So if you see 70, you can expect that it's going to be a bit better than normal. And like the accuracy on the marine life model is slightly lower than visibility. Fish behave in more complicated ways than little sediment particles in the water.
I can't predict that. Huh? It's hard to.
But it's still accurate in my testing 75% of the time.
Wow.
That's amazing.
It's really impressive.
So again, if you're seeing like looks like it's going to be much better than usual, there's a very, very good chance that it's going to be a particularly good day. And that's something that I'm just really excited to share with the diving community also.
So seriously cool.
It's amazing. So, what really is fascinating is that I would think that retailers and resorts and liveaboards and travel sellers and travel wholesalers, would find this tool fascinating. How do you expect them to be able to use this tool to sell to their customers or encourage travel to various areas of the world?
I've thought a lot about this. Obviously, like operators and industry professionals know more about local conditions, know more about seasonality than anyone. And if like they're diving regularly, if they're actually running dives, they have like up-to-date visibility information, up-to-date experiences to share. But there isn't an easy way to share that information. There a lot of dive shops will post on Facebook, like this is what things are like now, or maybe talk to people who come into the shop. What Divesight, I think, can add to this, to add to that knowledge and experience that they have, is a very nice, rigorous, clear way to share with customers. So one thing that I've done is I've created a customizable widget. So any data that you would like included can be included or excluded for dive sites that you serve. It's totally ready to go and can be embedded into any website. So you can just put this small little widget that provides either like the weekly forecast for visibility or marine life or overall conditions.
That's cool.
Or any subset of the data. It can also show like the monthly averages across seasons.
Wow.
And so I imagine this helping operators in a couple ways. One would be sort of near term, that use case that I described earlier, where, no matter what the season is, I would still like to try to choose the best day to go. And so looking ahead in the upcoming week, the weekly forecast provides a way to like guide people towards the better days. And then also seasonally, like maybe at the dive site, the dive shop's website shows like, our best months are in summer.
Right.
But like someone is trying to plan a vacation then or on the edges of that time period. Right. And this provides all the data they need. What's the temperature? What's the temperature 100 feet underwater? What size wetsuit do I need? Or thickness rather. And so it provides a way of like setting expectations for potential customers. And I think just provides this nice marketable resource that operators can use to formalize and expand on the knowledge and experience that they already are trying to share with customers.
Totally. Wow. I mean, a resource every shop should be taking advantage of. Yaniv, thank you so much for being on the show. I mean, we really look forward to seeing the future versions of this really incredible software that every single dive pro should have. And if you're a dive shop, incorporate it. I mean, this is too good of a feature.
Sure is. It's amazing. Thanks. So check out Divesight.AI.
I have one more thing real quick.
Sure.
So I just released an update that I'm really excited about.
Awesome.
I have been working very hard to create high resolution underwater 3D maps of dive sites. So the latest app update, it'll hit the store very shortly, has for 11,000 dive sites, 3D scannable underwater maps of dive sites, and for 2,500 very high resolution maps. Wow. And I'm continuing to work on this, and I'll expand coverage to the entire catalog, but that's happening. I want to offer industry officials as well, in it, separate from like just the widget, we have this charter member program that we've launched through the end of the year, completely free to anybody in the industry. And you get the free kind of conditions widget that I described, but we will also would be very happy to give free pro accounts to everyone on your staff. You can have a verified listing in the app, so any dive site that you serve, we'll put a pin on the map there. We'll put your information at the bottom with a link that goes directly to your resources. Wow. All completely free. We would love to just get this in the hands of professionals all over the industry and earn everybody's trust with the quality of the data and hopefully pass it on to the customers that dive.
That's amazing.
Totally. Wow.
So,
I mean, you heard it here. I mean, it's totally free
Yeah.
right now. So if you are interested, man, get involved. It seems like too good of a resource
Absolutely.
to just be free.
So I have one last question that's not on our planned script, but what's your favorite dive? If you have one, because everybody has one or two that are just like that one dive. You're like, it's unbelievable.
So I'm a big Blackwater fan. I had the opportunity to dive in Anilo a couple of years ago, and it blew my mind. Like the Blackwater was absolutely extraordinary. Also, just the quality of the reefs there, the health of them. I've been lucky to dive in very many countries, and I did not know that there are places in the world where the reefs are still so vibrant and so healthy, that the diversity, I mean, the muck diving, like everything there was absolutely mind-blowing, and I'm dying to go back.
Wow. That's
so
great.
rad.
That's great.
That's an awesome one.
Well, that's going to probably wrap us up for the day. You're going to be at the DEMA Show in about 85 days, 86 days or so. And we look forward to seeing you there. We're going to have our portable studio set up there, Britton, and
that's
broadcasting.
Right. So we're going to need a part 2.
Yep, part 2 update for all the new stuff that's going on. We've got, we're going to be doing live daily updates from the show floor.
That's right.
Booth 126. Come by and see us. That's going to wrap us for today. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can subscribe for free on our magazine at scubadivinginch.com. Don't forget Level Up's out on the 10th, which is our next podcast series, and the issue will be published on the 30th. So
Divesight.AI.
Divesight.AI. That's SIGHT. Divesight.AI. Absolutely. Thanks. That's going to do it.
That's right. Bye, everyone.